Project Podcast. I am your host, Travis Joshua Wells, and today we have a special guest with us, Amity Dolby. She is the former chair of the Virginia Libertarian Party, and we are going to be discussing the Carroll County Courthouse Shootout, also called the Carroll County Massacre. Hello, Amity. How are you?
I'm good, but we might need to edit that because I was never the chair of the Libertarian Party.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're live right now too, so everybody knows I'm.
Oh, are we?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know we were live. I thought we were pre-recording.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have a subscription to the service just yet. Well, everybody, roast me in the comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're live streaming?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am the former chair of the CD5 of the Libertarian Party of Virginia.
Okay. That's where I got mistaken. I apologize.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
See, I can tell you things that happened 4,000 years ago and the dates and the battles and all that. And then I can't tell you simple things like that. And I can't even.
Hey, none of it matters.
I know, right? And, but yeah, so we're talking about this, I mean, it was a horrible tragedy that happened in 1912, but let's just let you hit the ground running with this because you clearly know more than I do about it. I've been reading for about, I don't know, I would say I've been reading for a little over a week now with these books that the ladies at the Carroll County Library hooked me up with. The one girl, she practically jumped out of her skin when she heard that I was doing an episode on this, and she immediately disappeared like smoke bomb ninja and went way back in the back and found a huge stack of books. And when I say stack of books, I mean, she brought me like a whole thing to read. And yeah, I just want to give them a shout out because the ladies at the Carroll County Library, they're clearly very passionate about this. And God bless them, you know. But you go ahead.
Yeah. So you want me to give you a little background about why I'm so interested in this?
Absolutely.
So my mother, her maiden name is Allen. Oh, so cool. Of course, we're talking about the famous Allen shootout at the Hillsville County Courthouse on March 12th, 1912. And so my seventh great grandfather is the first known Allen to be here from Scotland. And he was in the Revolutionary War at the Battle of Guilford Courthouse. And our family lore is that he settled in Carroll County, Virginia after the Revolutionary War. So my third great grandfather was the brother of Floyd and Sidna, which we will be talking about probably at great length today. He actually passed away before this happened. So my family line had already moved on and was doing other things. So my direct descendants were not involved, but these were my, several great uncles who were involved in this shootout.
Right on. Yeah. So this was, hey, there's Free commenting. What's up, brother? Let's see. So it looks like 5 people died. 7 were wounded. And this was all, I started to be fair, the Thomases and the Allens in this area, they take this very, very seriously. So to the Thomases and the Allens, please know that I do not have a dog in this fight. My family's from East Tennessee, and that's where they were in 1912, as of my knowledge, you know. So any inaccuracies, completely unintentional. Now, I did, as I was reading, I started to get some biases in favor of the Allens because, one, I read that Lemuel and Jeremiah were both Confederate war heroes. They both fought, and we all know my stance on the Confederacy. But they were and they owned 0 slaves. They never owned slaves, which was the norm in the South. And they were mountain men. They were moonshiners, and they were making a living for their family. And I started to realize that who I think is the problem, we'll get into this, but the Commonwealth's District Attorney, William McDonald Foster, I think that's his right middle name, but it seemed like he had a bad taste in his mouth for the Allens. It seemed like he was really trying to get them, you know. And
Yeah. So Jeremiah, which was Floyd and my third great grandfather Anderson and Sidna's father, he was in Company E, 29th Infantry Division in the Civil War, and as was my third great grandfather. And they served with honor. They weren't killed during the Civil War. They came home and continued their businesses in Fancy Gap. And the whole issue with Fowler and others was, so my Allen family were Southern Democrats, and as you know, being from Southwest Virginia, Southern Democrats of that time are basically the conservatives of today.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The parties kind of flipped in their ideology, and they were just trying to be left alone by the government and do their thing, and have peace and raise their families. And Fowler was a Republican, and so Floyd Allen was a constable at one point. Even though Carroll County was mostly Republican, Floyd was very well liked, and any office he sought, he was elected to. And there was a run-in at one time with Fowler. Some say it was for political ideology. Some say there was a business deal that had gone wrong, that Fowler had kind of screwed him a little, and they ended up getting in a fight. And so it just kind of went on from there.
Oh yeah,
that's where the tension started. And of course, before I go any further, I am completely biased. I have my family lore and the writings of my family, so I am totally Team Allen. And so I know you don't want to kind of take sides, but anything I tell you is based on what I know from family tradition and from the writings of my family.
What it was is I started out having no dog in the fight, and I started to develop. The more I read about the Allens, they were just tough bastards. Like they just fought constantly. And I can respect that, because that's Appalachian as absolute F. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just loved reading about them. But what I wasn't ready for was just the avalanche of conflicting primary sources on this. Like, people that were there that day, people who were standing right side by side with each other, they couldn't agree at all on what they had seen. Now, 3 people said that they saw Floyd Allen drop to the ground after being hit and pull a pistol and start shooting. But then other people said no, they didn't see that. Correct. And it was just, like, now, strictly going off of what I know about the human body, what makes me think that the Allens shot first is this: because of who was shot and where they were shot. Because if you have time to line up a shot, you're going to be way more accurate than you are with somebody who's just snap firing, So, like, if you look at where the judge was hit, it's in the chest, and I think it was in the head, and then William Foster was hit in the neck. So that tells me that somebody had the ability to draw and aim instead of just draw and snap fire. That's just my guess on it, because when you hear a gunshot or when you're in danger, you're going to have a massive adrenaline dump, and you're going to start shaking really, really bad. It's called the shakes. And combat training, people have to undergo to learn how to control that and think under pressure. That's why cops get sprayed with pepper spray and then are expected to shoot, things like that. Anything you got on that?
Yeah, so I actually have a interesting tidbit about Judge Massey, who was shot. So in the memoir of Sidna Allen, which I have an original 1929 copy, not many people have it. Nice. I have the first edition. This was handed down in my family, and it was given to me when my granny passed away in 2003. Everyone knew that I was interested in family history, and kind of she was our family historian, and everyone crowned me with that title and gave me all of her genealogical records, and I started doing a lot more research.
Right on.
So in Sidna's memoir, he stated that it's possible that when Dexter Goad was firing at him to the back of the room, a shot hit Judge Massey, because when they pulled the bullet out of the chair, the caliber of gun was not any of the Allens. It was the caliber that Dexter Goad had.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that really changes things for me then, because
This was brought up in Sidna's trial, but
uh-huh.
it was dismissed. They didn't do any autopsies. They didn't do
Well,
enough.
of course not.
Yeah. But
Government
I mean,
corruption really doesn't like to do autopsies very well, do they?
no, they don't. They like to just stick with their narrative. And if I could just give a little backstory so that
Please.
your listeners know exactly what we're talking about.
Mhm.
So what happened was about I think it's about a month or just a couple weeks before this happened. Two of Floyd Allen's nephews ended up in a fight outside of the meeting house where their brother Garland Allen was holding church services.
Mhm.
There was a run-in before with another kid. They were teenagers, maybe 20 years old,
Mhm.
and the kid showed up with three of his friends and called Wesley Edwards out and started 4-on-1. And so another cousin came out, and Sidney Edwards, and they fought him. And so the kid that started the fight to begin with went to Fowler, the Commonwealth's attorney, and pressed charges. And they claimed that Wesley and Sidney were the aggressors, and so they were charged.
Mhm.
They were found. It was just a misdemeanor. The charge ended up being, I think it was like disrupting a church service was the
Mhm.
charge. And because of the tension that was between the Commonwealth's attorney and the Republicans and Floyd Allen and the Democrats in the area, they shackled them. They tied a rope to them and made them walk behind the buggy to walk all the way to Hillsville from Mount Airy, which, as you know, is about 12, 15 miles, maybe more.
It's actually about 30 miles, honestly. It's quite a while.
Yeah,
It's
it was a really long
because when
walk.
I
And
go down 89 here, it takes me about 30 minutes to get there, and that's going 60 miles an hour in a car. So,
yeah,
yeah.
so they purposely took the long way through Fancy Gap so that they would pass by Floyd's house and Sidney Allen's store, which is Floyd's brother.
Mhm.
Not to be confused with Sidney Edwards, who was tied up to the back of the buggy.
Right.
They all had similar names back then. Everybody had the same family
That's a
names.
really interesting, cool sounding name, is Sidna. I
Yeah,
think
well,
I want
actually,
to say
back
that
then they weren't as educated, and they called him Sydney because of the accent. But as time went on, everybody in the last several generations have referred to him as Sidna because of the way it's spelled,
Okay,
Snida.
cool.
So, but they called him Sydney. But so they passed right by the store. Of course, Floyd comes out, confronts the constables, said, "What are you doing? Dragging these boys? They're not hardened criminals. They're charged with a misdemeanor. You're dragging them through the streets, parading them by my house and by my store. You need to unchain them. I'll take them to the courthouse myself."
Mhm.
They at first refused, and this is in the account of the memoir written by Sidney Allen.
Mhm.
He had firsthand visual of this.
Mhm.
Uh, they refused, and then they had some back and forth, and finally they agreed. But one of the constables pulled a gun to intimidate Floyd, and later they claimed that he assaulted him, but what he did was he pulled the gun from his hand and broke it over a rock.
Oh, wow.
So that's how Floyd ended up getting charged with the assault, or impeding the arrest of his nephews was the charge that ended up in this trial where we're talking about where the shootout ended up happening.
Yeah, and it seems like the Allens were just dead set on not spending a single minute in jail. One person reported that Floyd Allen said he would die and go to hell before he spent a single minute in jail.
Yeah, there's another account where he stands up after when the sheriff comes to take him away to the jail, and there's this famous quote in many of the books where he stands up and says, "Gentlemen, I ain't a going."
Yeah,
And that's when all hell broke loose.
Yeah, apparently that's when the first shot was fired, and that's when everybody there's this one book that they gave me right here. This is nothing but for the cameras. Well, ha! It's gonna
Your
filter out
green screen doesn't like it.
it's gonna filter out for the green screen. Anyway, it's called the Allen Chase. It's not gonna show it to you here, I guess, but anyway, it's the search and capture of the outlaws, and all this book is going through just what the newspapers reported, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing adds up. Like absolutely nothing adds up. All these various articles, like you think that the news is fake now? Like go back 115 years and they didn't have any standards at all. They just like a lot of them apparently didn't even leave the hotel in Hillsville. They just talked to whoever would talk to them.
Yeah.
So
fun fact about the newspapers. This happened on March 13th, 1912. And, or was it March 12th, March 13th, 1912?
I think it's the 14th.
March 14th. Yep. March 14th, 1912. And it was front page national news for an entire month until April 15th, 1912, a month later, when the Titanic sank and wiped this off of the front page. And it was forever forgotten in history until later when some arrest happened and the execution. But the Titanic took this off the front page news.
That's kind of amazing. Something that big has to happen in order to take this off the front page. So, I mean, would you like to just dive into the actual timeline and just like work our way incrementally up to the actual shootout and the chase and all that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So this one right here that she gave me, this thing does not like this. Okay, so the book is called The Red Ear of Corn. Okay, so apparently there was I've never been to a corn shucking bee, but apparently that's how you met girls back 115 years ago. So what they would do is they would pass out all these ears of corn, and whoever got the red ear of corn got to kiss the girl that they chose that they wanted to, right? And anyway, one of the Edwards boys got it, and he chose to kiss the girl of a Thomas. I forget the name of the man Thomas that he did. Wesley Edwards and Sidney Edwards is the ones that were involved in this.
Right.
I'm going off my show notes now. So yeah, Will Thomas, he kissed the girlfriend of Will Thomas, and that's when a fight broke out. Fast forward to the next day, Will Thomas and his friends show up, three of them, to assault Wesley and Sidney Edwards. Now, this is where I think that a mountain gets made out of a molehill, because the corrupt DA, William, hang on, I always forget his last name. One second. Yeah, it's William Foster. Yeah. Foster. I don't know why I can't remember Foster. Yeah. So anyway, he's been after the Allens forever. At one point, that's how. Oh, you met Amity with
a corn shucking.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know what a corn shucking is. He's not Southern like us.
I mean, like I don't
think they have those in the South Side of Chicago.
Yeah, I didn't even know what a corn shucking was, and I'm from Appalachia.
Really? Come on.
I didn't know that. I was like, wow, like I guess
maybe because I grew up with the family lore.
I guess so. Yeah. Of course, I'm from from like my family's from East Tennessee. Like maybe there's a tobacco shucking or something around there, but one day we'll figure that out, I guess. But yeah, so this DA, it seems like he used every single opportunity to punish the Allens and go after them for even the most minor charges. At one point, he was trying to even figure out ways to charge the Allens from fighting among themselves.
Yep.
And I think this is what just kept, because like his over prosecution of these things seemed to just keep adding fuel to a very small fire. And it eventually became a national news story that could only be supplanted by the Titanic,
Right.
because clearly, I mean, Appalachians just don't give up fighting. We just keep going until
We're a stubborn crew.
oh my God, we are like we hold grudges too. Um, so yeah, then these two boys, on advice, some say it's from Floyd Allen himself, flee to Mount Airy and they start working in a granite quarry. And as a few months pass, and they go get the authorities here in Virginia go get a new warrant, go pick up the boys. And one is they didn't have enough handcuffs, as you said, and they had one tied up like a pig. That's what Floyd had a problem with. Let's pull Floyd's picture up here a little bit. Yep, I keep forgetting I could switch these screens out. But yeah, this is Floyd Allen. He's a tough old bastard. Just look at that mustache. I'm jealous of that mustache. That's something else.
Now, also Wesley and Sidna's parents had passed away at this point, and he was more like a father to them than an uncle. So
Oh wow.
he was going to, protect them to the death.
Oh, I'd do it too. Anybody
Unfortunately,
messing
ended up
anybody
that way.
messing with my little nephew, like there's not a price on this earth that I would pay to not to protect him.
Right.
But yeah, so he said, let's see, Thomas Samuels and Peter Easter, in most accounts, is the names of the two deputies. They were transported back to Virginia, trussed up like hogs, according to Floyd Allen. They were restrained cruelly as the buggy passed the Allens' houses in Cana, which I believe you're from Cana, correct?
I'm not. That's
oh,
where
oh,
the Allens are from.
okay. Yeah, so that's that's at the bottom of the mountain. That's not like up at the top. So like
Right.
it's still a pretty flat area, and he could have seen them coming from quite a ways away. But yeah, so he intervenes, and a shot was fired. It injures his finger, and he doesn't kill anybody, but he does pistol whip a guy apparently to the point of unconsciousness, which sounds like
That's
he
a lie.
deserved it. Oh, is it a lie? Okay.
That's a lie.
Okay.
He took
Well,
his gun and smashed it over a rock. He never hit anybody,
okay.
according to Sidna Allen's eyewitness account.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's a lot of biased information, as you said, alluded to,
right.
that depending on who writes the books,
Absolutely.
what information they're going to put out there.
Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't there, so who knows who was telling the truth? But according to my family, he didn't hit anybody.
Well, the thing that makes me think that a lot of this is made up about the Allens, even some of the fighting amongst themselves and like the thuggery that they could accuse them of, like when this all went down, all the mountain people came together and was like helping protect them. So if
Right.
they had that negative of an actual reputation, I know my people up here, we wouldn't have anything to do with them if that was true,
Yeah, they had a great reputation. They weren't necessarily moonshiners. They made brandy. They dispute the claim that they were whiskey runners. One of the brothers was a Baptist pastor, and Floyd and Sidna were both shop owners, and they were just good people in the community. Their community elected them to office anytime they sought it, and they were well respected.
Well, I mean, he clearly dresses to the nines too. He looks like he's a very respectable gentleman, and like in every photo, he looks like he's actually well dressed too, like
Yeah.
definitely more so than I am. He's always got a tie on and everything. So I mean, he's got kempt hair. He doesn't look like a violent savage to me. It
Yep.
looks like he's got principles. And that's the thing that stuck out to me. Like what you said about Goad firing the first shot. Now that makes a lot of sense to me. Whoever shot the judge and the DA, they definitely had time to aim. That's my overall point. But like the what, like almost 60 shots after that, like I feel like that was just random hip fire type stuff. But so the DA charges Floyd with what is it, misdemeanor? No, oh wait, no, felony assault. He tries to charge him with felony assault. And they had been political enemies with William Foster for quite some time because William Foster was originally a Democrat. He changed his party affiliation to a Republican. And back in those days, you have to understand that while Reconstruction had ended decades earlier, the old bitter feelings of North versus South was still very, very real. And
Right.
you could cut it in the air with a knife. It was that thick. Because the Confederates believed that they had the Constitution torn up in front of their faces, and the federal government was trying to come in and rule them as tyrants instead of as citizens. Whereas the Union, they bought into the propaganda that Lincoln was spreading because, of course, Lincoln shut down every newspaper that dared criticize him. But then the North believed that they were fighting to free the slaves for the most part. But the problem is that this was a rich man's war, but a poor man's fight. So the poor men ended up having to slaughter each other while the rich men sat back in comfort, which sounds a lot like what's happening with the Iran war today.
Yes.
So yeah, like this Reconstruction era tension was still real, even though Reconstruction had ended. And these were political enemies. It just seemed like William Foster was trying to weaponize his office and go after the Allens because they were his chief rival. You know, anything.
Well, even the fact that the boys that showed up, Thomas, I think his last name was Thomas, and his friends showed up to the meeting house where they were holding church and called Wesley out to fight him.
Mhm.
They weren't charged with anything,
Yeah.
even though they were the ones that instigated the original fight that started all this.
Hmm.
So, and then, and then he tries to charge Floyd with assault with no evidence. And I believe the charge ended up only being impeding an arrest when he ended up going to court for that.
Right. The one thing too, William Foster, I know we keep picking on him, but it seems like he kind of deserves it because at one point someone tried to kill Floyd and he wrote to the Mount Airy DA and requested that he go easy on him because even if he had killed Floyd, it would be one less Allen to deal with. And Floyd confronted him over this and said he'd blow his brains out where he stood if he could prove it. And William Foster, of course, did the politician thing and said, "Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about." But that's a pretty crazy thing to make up if, you know. So it just seems like, to me, I feel like William Foster is the one that caused this shootout. And of course, he's one of the ones that died, you know?
Yeah.
So the day of the morning, well, the trial itself was on that Friday, the 13th, and the jury went out to deliberate the next morning. Everybody shows up at 8 a.m., which is a little early, and the jury within just they arrive at like 8:30 in the morning. And they read the guilty verdict, and they say that Floyd has to spend 1 year in prison and have to pay a $1,000 fine, which, and they convict him on the chance of felony assault. And that's when he said, "Gentlemen, I ain't a going."
Allegedly.
And allegedly. And of course, that's when the shooting starts.
Right.
I like your point about the goad gun going off because with the calibers, anybody who's ever been around guns, caliber matters. You're not going to fit a 308 into a 22 pistol, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah. It seems like that was a way that I don't know if you ever seen that old show Turn, Washington
I haven't.
Spies. Okay, so there was a trial in there where the guy is accused of shooting a British officer, and then the bullet that they dig out of his body doesn't even match the guy's gun, and they still convict him. I'm just like, yeah, it seems like pretty open and shut case to me, you know?
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, and so in I keep referring back to Sidney Allen's memoir, but only because he had so much firsthand account knowledge of this. Um, he he claimed so. They also later claimed, and we may get into this later
mhm,
with the charges of the Allens after the shootout, but they claimed that the night before the verdict was read, that they conspired at Sidney Allen's house, because what happened was the trial went on late.
mhm,
Floyd lived about 14 miles from the courthouse, and Sidney's house was only about 7 miles in Fancy Gap.
mhm,
So that he decided to spend the night at Sidney's house so that they could get up and get to the courthouse early for the verdict.
mhm.
Um, the only reason he stayed there was because it was half the distance, and as you know, back then, they weren't driving, there weren't cars, they weren't going 60 miles an hour. This was a very long journey,
Mhm,
so they stayed there and came back. They
mhm.
later claimed that he only stayed there to conspire and plan this thing ahead of time. This was not premeditated.
Yeah,
So
no kidding.
they did get to the courthouse, and Sidney was standing in the back of the courthouse, and when he heard the first shot fired, he looked over and Floyd was already on the ground. So if what they claim is that Floyd uh, made the first shot,
Mhm.
it's impossible. There was a shot and then he was on the ground.
Yeah, because he fell
So,
on top of his lawyer. I believe Tipton was his name.
right.
Yeah.
So the whole narrative that the Allens started this and that they, just guns blazing started shooting from all over in the courthouse
Mhm.
is not true. They did return fire after shots were fired and Floyd was dropped to the ground.
Mhm. Yeah, I
So,
believe he was hit in the hip, the thigh, and the knee, which, that seems like those seem like targets of opportunity, because as I said, if you have time to aim, you're probably not gonna be aiming for the hip, the thigh, or the knee, right? Well, he
right,
landed on top of his judge, and 3 people, I believe, lied and said that, he had pulled a gun and started shooting after that. But
correct.
back then, courts didn't really understand that people could just make up what they seen. They just believed anything they got told, right?
Right.
But, during the shooting, 57 bullets were fired. Now the killed was Judge Thornton Lemon Massey, hopefully no relation to Thomas Massey, because Thomas Massey's actually a good guy.
Very good guy.
Yeah.
I asked him
Uh,
once if he was any relation and he didn't respond. So,
oh, no. That means
so I don't know.
oh, no. Then the sheriff of Carroll County, Lewis Franklin Webb, he took 5 bullets while trying to protect the judge. He ended up falling near the door, trying to pursue the fleeing Allens. Now, Commonwealth's attorney William Foster, he ducked behind the prosecution table as the shooting started, but bullets splintered straight through. Witnesses report that he was hit 3 times. Believe one was in the neck, and that's what killed him. Now, Augustus Caesar Fowler, he was the foreman of the jury, if my notes are correct.
Yes.
He was shot in the head indirectly by a stray bullet. Now, as he tried to run, and then a witness. Now, I tried to find more about this witness, Elizabeth Betty Ayers, a witness who was shot in the back and didn't know it. She died at home the next day. Now, the thing is I don't find any accounts saying that she was even present at the alleged beating that Floyd gave to the 2 deputies. Uh, I I get it that she was supposed to be a witness, but I don't see any accounts of her. It's like she just shows up in this one scene and then she's not there anymore or before. So,
Yeah, that's the same with my accounts. Is I don't have any prior information about her other than she was in the courthouse, and tragically she was shot. I believe she was only 19 years old, if memory
Yeah.
serves.
Yeah, that's just because apparently the one witness didn't show up to court alleging that the Allens threatened him to not show up. And but why would a 19-year-old girl show up, if they were threatening witnesses? Because that would be probably, I'm not trying to say women are a weaker constitution, but like it just seems like if a grown man is scared and won't show up, a woman definitely wouldn't.
Right.
So it just doesn't add up to me. Now the wounded, Floyd himself, he was shot 3 times. And as he fired, apparently his attorney begged not to be shot, and Floyd replied, "They're shooting at me, not you." Floyd then, from what the witnesses say, allegedly pulled a concealed pistol and started firing from his down position, though wounded. But they seemingly never recovered a pistol from him, which, if he's wounded, especially in those places, you're not going to be throwing a pistol very far or getting up and moving. Now, Sidney,
I wouldn't doubt that he was armed. I mean,
Mhm.
he they all carried back then.
Oh,
So, it wouldn't surprise me if he was armed, but whether he shot or not after he was hit 3 times, that would be doubtful, only because, I mean, if you're down with 3 bullet wounds,
yeah.
you know,
I mean,
who knows if you're going to be able to
you'd have to be pretty
return,
tough, like
or have a lot of adrenaline pumping through you, which could
absolutely.
also be, but
That's true. Then the one you brought up, Dexter Goad, after Sidney Allen, he was shot through the left arm. Sidney Allen's brother was. I mean, Sidney Allen was shot through the left arm. Dexter Goad, he took 4 bullets and hid behind an overturned table, but recovered later. He suffered PTSD and would jump at sounds, sleeping with a gun under his pillow, and jolt awake. So
yeah.
apparently he was very disturbed about what happened. Now, Christopher Columbus Kane, he was a juror. I didn't see any further information about him. Peter Easter Faddis, a juror. J.H. Blankenship, a juror. And Andrew T. Hallett, who was just a spectator, because back then this was your entertainment. People just showed up
Yeah.
even if they had nothing to do with the case.
There was no Law and Order SVU to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
This was it.
You had to go see it in the making.
Live. Yep.
So some debate about the names of those wounded, but the core count remains at 7 at all times per the New York Times.
Mhm.
Of course, the New York Times, they're not. You think they're not reputable now? Go back 115 years, or even back to the Civil War. The New York Times is just as, like, they're less scummy today. Let's put it that way. All right, so 57 bullet holes still decorate the Hillsville courthouse to this day. The Allen family members rode off on horseback into the mountains because they know him pretty well, apparently. Now, Floyd didn't make it very far. He was pretty heavily wounded. I believe he was caught at the hotel the next day, correct?
Yes, he was taken to a hotel by family where he was recovering from his wounds. Sidna and some others, Claude, which was Floyd's son, who was also later charged, and Wesley Edwards, and I want to say, anyway, a few others went into the woods and into the hills, and they laid low for quite a while. Now, you're showing the picture. This is the courthouse stairs.
I'm gonna drag it up real quick.
So I took this picture. I was there for the 100th anniversary of the shootout in 2012. And then I went again for a Allen reunion in 2022. So it was one of those times I took that picture, but that's the bullet hole, one of the bullet holes in the steps. And
That's
it's clear
amazing
to this day.
It's amazing that the wood has held up all this time. That's
Yeah.
Let's pull up the second one here. Yep.
Yep.
Here we go. Here's the
Another
second
one.
one. It looks pretty small, like a 38 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, they ran outside and kept on shooting.
Yeah. That's let's see. Then let's see the courtroom model here. Let's see. So here's the courtroom model. We're zooming in pretty far here, but I mean, it looks like a pretty small area. I mean, you got the let's see. This is the jury right here, right? And then
Yes.
okay. Yeah,
And
I haven't actually gone to see this myself, so this is
yeah,
great.
so upstairs in the historical courthouse, they have is the actual courtroom, and they actually have it preserved as a museum. It's upstairs from this building that we're showing a picture of here.
Oh,
There's a museum down at the bottom, and then upstairs is the courthouse where they have it laid out exactly how it was um, uh, back then. And
okay.
so yeah, the it wasn't very big. I would say probably maybe 10 rows back of benches, of bench
Okay.
seats, and yeah, just a small room, and
Yeah,
of course the judge's
apparently.
desk.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you
no,
off.
go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, like, I guess we have to assume, like, realize that this is a very small room. Like, you could clearly see everybody in it. Because Hillsville, even today, is still a very small town. Like, there might be 4,000 people, very sparsely populated, and all in it. But back then, there wasn't even a railway. You had to ride like a day and a half from Galax to get here because that was the clear closest train.
Right.
And even that through mud because this is springtime, and springtime in Virginia is nothing but rain and mud. So you have that. Let's see. And you said, let's see. Oh, and here's the Allen House drawing. This is the original Sidney Allen House.
Right. So he was an expert carpenter and woodworker, and he built this house. And this is actually a pencil drawing from Ron Leonard. Was a very well-known historian in the area. He passed away a few years ago, but he was a friend of mine and a distant cousin. And so he drew this and autographed it for me and gave it to me. So I have
That's
that one
beautiful.
hanging in my house. But yeah, it's a gorgeous house. It's we actually took some pictures of it when it was still being restored during the Allen reunion in 2022 that
Think
I
I've
think I
got those
sent you.
here. Yeah, here you go.
Yep.
Here's this one. Yeah, I mean, just look at that craftsmanship. I mean, you just don't see that ever. Like, not at all today.
And I believe back then he built it, if I'm remembering correctly, it was $38,000. And of course, in 1912, that was a lot of money.
That was a fortune. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I mean, these were clearly well-to-do people. They were not just random thugs.
Well, the family wasn't very well off. He had actually gone out west and did some gold mining and came back with some fortune, and so he had some money.
Right
All
on.
the Allens weren't, they were just regular hill people,
Yeah.
and they were business owners, so they did have means. They definitely weren't, poor thugs, just outlaws like people like to portray them.
Yeah. It seems like in history, it just seems like every time you're told somebody's the bad guy, they end up being the good guy, and it's just the government trying to be corrupt, and they wanted to pin it on somebody.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the
This
truth.
is this is an absolutely beautiful home. Like, I've passed by it many, many times because I'm like right here in Grayson County, but I've never actually been inside of it or anything. I really need to treat myself one day.
You
But
definitely
you
need
can
to go.
yeah, like, I've always appreciated as I drive by because, like, well, you can't see the highway right here, but it runs right here, and I always go down to the fruit stands at the bottom of the mountain and stuff like that. This is the J. Sidney Allen Home Preservation. There's your number if you want to call the Carroll County Historical Society and actually go see this. Definitely donate to them because they put a lot of work into this. They are very passionate about keeping this alive. Now, what am I looking at here?
So these are some of Sidney Allen's tables that he made. He was big into woodworking, and at one point he said that someone offered him $7,000 for one table, or the most he ever was offered was $100,000 for his entire collection, and he wouldn't sell them. So they're now, however they ended up, there was some hand, they exchanged hands after his passing, but they ended up there in the Carroll County Museum,
That is
which
beautiful.
is right there at the historical courthouse.
I see your reflection right there.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, it was behind a glass case. I wasn't supposed to take pictures in here, so I'm
Oh, okay.
I'm probably gonna get in trouble for these, but I don't care.
Oh, okay. Try to extradite you from down there,
Yeah, right. I've donated to them. They can afford me a couple pictures.
Right, for real, yeah. Like, I mean, this just looks like something you would see in royalty's house. Like, that blows my mind how skilled he was.
There was one other picture that's just the table. I think it's labeled. That was his famous table. That
this one right here.
Just the detail, yeah. It's probably hard to see for
you would see in like King Tut's tomb or something, like
yeah.
Just I wonder if he did. How did he do the coloring? That's what I want to understand. Is that a different type of wood, or is that like?
No idea.
Wow. That's beautiful, though. Wow. I mean, these were skilled people. These were not thugs and savages. This is like, wow. Yeah. It just seems like to me like this. The issue is this the William Foster guy. Because he clearly had it in for the Allens, and it's just not recorded. Because like I even watched a bunch of different podcasts on it just to see what everybody else was saying. Like a couple of them I even watched today as I was like waiting on my wife's appointment, and they always just kind of glaze over his part. Like they don't even mention him at all. But when you dive into these books that these ladies got me at the Carroll County Library, you start getting a picture of just how crooked this guy was. And he just seemed like he was going to get the Allens come hell or high water. So after the shooting, it seems like everybody just kind of takes off, and they don't even immediately form a posse, it seems like, to go after him. A couple of them get away. Sidney Allen, he goes, I think it was Claude Allen goes Des Moines. Okay, Des Moines, Iowa. Okay. And
Sidney Wesley, I believe.
Okay, yeah. Because Sidney was working as a grocer, apparently. And then they catch Claude because he wrote a letter to his girlfriend back home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the part of the story that I got interested, like that I really clued in on, is the Baldwin Felts Detective Agency.
Mm-hmm.
I have a horrible, horrible bad taste in my mouth when I hear the Baldwin Felts Detective Agency, because some of my ancestors fought in the Battle of Blair Mountain, which was against the mine workers, fighting against the corrupt sheriffs and everything there. The Baldwin Felts Detective Agency still exists today. They're very, very proud of their history of cracking Appalachian skulls for the man and everything. They're the people you have show up when you want to deputize an outside force and you don't really want to worry about things like ethics and due process and all that. They come in and they start searching houses, and even without warrants and things like that. And so like it just seems like the government is just trying to crush the Allens, like from every angle, and the Allens fought back, it seems like.
Yeah, and so when Sidney Allen and Wesley Edwards ended up getting caught in Des Moines, what happened was Wesley's girlfriend actually took the reward money, which was a couple $100, and ratted them out, and they found them. So unfortunately, love caught Claude and love caught Wesley and Sidney.
Dang, that is tragic, man.
Damn women.
Right. She's like, oh, I'm gonna go get a Gucci purse. I don't know if Gucci existed back then.
Probably not.
But yeah, like I guess she saw that few $100 prize, and she was like, okay, we're gonna just take this and go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
But unfortunately, Floyd and Claude, his son, were charged and convicted and given the death penalty.
yeah, and they even appealed to the governor at one point to try to commute it to just a life sentence or something like that, and he gave them the chair in Richmond.
Yeah, it was stayed a couple times, and then I believe it was March. It was the following year, March 28th, 1913.
Okay.
They were electrocuted, sadly. And I don't know if you want to pull up the slide of their grave marker.
Yes. Let me pop that up real quick here.
So the back of it. So I have a story about this.
Hang on just a second.
I'm going to pull up my copy so I can.
Let me see here. I've lost my folder. Give me just a second.
That's so okay. Sorry. No, I'll go ahead and start talking about it if I can find.
I'm going to pull it up here in just a second.
Yeah. So after they were electrocuted, of course, there was tons of new evidence that was trying to be presented. And, you know, they were seen by many as innocent and beloved by many. And so the grave marker, you can actually pull up the original grave marker first.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah. So this is the original grave marker. This is still there. I've, you know, that's a picture I took, and there's other pictures of it as well. So in 2012, when I went for the 100th anniversary, I met my friend Ron Leonard, who took me on a tour of all the cemeteries and some of the historical sites. Mm-hmm. This was one of the sites he took me. And he had told me that there was an original grave marker, and I'll read it if I don't know if you want to pull that one up. It was like a screenshot I showed you.
Is it the back or the
back? Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. The back. Okay. 1 second. Here we go.
Yeah. So the original marker says, "Sacred to the memory of Claude S. Allen and his father, who was judicially murdered in the Virginia Penitentiary March 28, 1913, by order of the governor of the state over the protest of 100,000 citizens of the state of Virginia, placed here by a friend and citizen of Virginia." Now, wow. The lore is that this gravestone was stolen, and then the one that sits today was a replacement. My friend Ron Leonard, who swore me to secrecy, but he has gone to glory, so I'm going to reveal this. This is actually still on the back of the current grave marker.
Oh, wow.
So he showed me pictures of where it was removed, and he showed me the front and the back. And so this is still there, and wow. And then the front is what's inscribed today.
I absolutely love it. Like, yeah, because I mean, like, these stories like this right here are probably like, these are very good reasons to bring up why the death penalty is bad. But, like, of course, you know, yeah, it's just like you get clearly innocent people, because like these two, like even just before they sat down on the chair, were saying that they were innocent, and they were like, you know, God help me, you know. Yeah. And it's just, yeah, like,
I have a little excerpt of what Claude said right before he was put to death, if you'll let me indulge.
Go.
My last words to the people of Virginia are, "I knew absolutely nothing of any conspiracy and do not believe there was one. I did not fire the first shot and did not shoot until my father had been shot at. I did not kill Judge Massey. Those who have wronged me, I forgive, and I hope we shall meet in a better world where sorrow is never known. Pray God's blessing upon our dear old state, and to all her people I say farewell. I am with a clear conscience."
Amen to that. Wow. Yeah.
He was just a baby. He was in his early 20s, had his whole life ahead of him, and you know, just got caught up in in the mayhem in the courthouse.
And sold out by a girlfriend for a couple $100.
Well, no. So Claude was the one that he was caught because he had wrote a letter to her.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay. Oh,
but
that was Floyd that wrote
Wesley,
that. Okay.
Wesley was the one that whose girlfriend sold him out to Baldwin Phelps.
Oh,
But
okay.
this was Claude, Floyd's son. So
Mhm.
Floyd and Claude were father and son. They were the ones that got executed.
Okay, I got you.
The
Okay.
other ones served some prison time. Sidna served. He got a 35-year sentence after he was found in Des Moines, but he was pardoned after, I believe, 13 years in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's
So
just wow.
he got out and lived out his old age.
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, at least some of them got out. It seems like they were just targeted and their only crime was fighting back, you know? And we know how governments hate people who fight back, but
Yeah, self-defense unless it's against the government, right?
yeah, exactly. Like, you know, so much for Sic Semper Tyrannis, I guess.
Hmm.
Like, I'm just trying to make sure we didn't miss anything in the timeline here. But it stuns me just how much history the Allens had, because like there was an article even from back during the Revolutionary War called the Fighting Allens, and they were walking through all the battles that they had been a part of. Let's see, Second Battle of Bull. Well, see, that was Civil War, but yeah, they were in the 51st under Stonewall Jackson, which, like, talk about legend of legends, you know, they were serving under a legend at the very least. And then the Second Battle of Bull Run or Manassas, there's some debate on that. Let's see. Yeah, it just seems like the government tried to take them out, you know, and unfortunately they were successful.
Yeah.
It's tragic. I mean, it is sad that the 5 people died. Well, at least 4 of them, because it really does sound like Foster deserved it. But I don't know. You know, wow.
Yeah,
But
it's a crazy story, and still to this day, I was there just 4 years ago, and when you go into Carroll County and specifically into Hillsville, you say you're an Allen at your discretion, because you may get some high fives or you may get dirty looks. Now, if you go down into Cana and Fancy Gap area, you're welcomed as family and you're kind of hailed a hero, like, oh, you're an Allen, but right there in the heart of Hillsville, you never know what you're going to get.
Well, if I get something thrown at me the next time I go through Hillsville, we'll see. We'll see how this podcast is received, because like I'm clearly taking the side of the Allens because of the Confederacy, but it does seem like they were targeted. Like, it just does not seem like sure, they fought back, but fighting back's not a crime in my book. I mean, that's just Appalachian culture to begin with, you know. And
I mean, that was my family lore, that I learned since I was a little girl, was that it was self-defense, and that the Republicans had it out for them because they were Southern Democrats and they didn't like how they didn't like their politics, and they had some run-ins, some business run-ins with Foster, and it just kind of spiraled out of control from there.
Yeah, that's just it's absolutely stunning. Like, I love stories like this because like it's the ones that fought back you always get told are the bad guys, and and they always try to make you sound like you're crazy or you're some extremist or something like that. But no, you just love your family, you love your liberty, and you're just not going to live without it, you know. And
when you have that many family members in the courthouse, I mean, what do you think they're going to do? Just stand there and watch their family members get shot?
Exactly. Like, I would open fire if somebody tried to hurt my family 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, just wow. But yeah, I mean, seriously, respect to the Allen family. Like, of course, like 25 years ago, I'm dating myself here, but like 25 years ago, I actually dated a girl who was a Thomas, and she was crazy because she thought she could talk to dragons and stuff like that. But we'll get into
Oh
that some
boy.
other time. But yeah, she was insane. But yeah, like, but seriously, respect to the Allens though. Like, wow. But so I guess that brings us around to what the podcast is really about. Like, we're diving back into history. We're studying how tyrants rise, how they fall, and what you and I can do to make them fall faster. So, what I thought would be fun for every guest is we have the guest choose what our homework is, because we don't want to just listen to a story. We don't want to just listen to a podcast and learn a few conversation topics. We want to become better and stronger people. So let's put you on the spot. Pick us out some homework. I'm thinking like a physical task, like a workout, and then a mental task, like a book to read or a puzzle to solve or something like that, and then a social task, something that builds community. Go.
Okay, well, you're really putting me on the spot because I didn't do my homework.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so a physical task. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to sound easy, but Free and I walk in the Florida sunshine every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's 2.5 miles. He usually goes at least almost 6 miles, but we usually do the closer to 6. But if I have to get back for work, for my lunch break, I'll just cut it in half and do like 3. But go out and walk every day. It clears your head. Stay off your phone when you do it, and just, be with your thoughts. It
Very
doesn't only help you physically, but it helps you mentally.
good.
So what was the second one?
Mental task, like a book to read or like a puzzle to solve or something that builds your mind.
Yeah. So since we're on the topic of the Allens, if anybody out there is interested in learning more about the Allen family and their side of the story, I'm going to suggest the memoirs of Jason Allen. It's hard to find. This is an original copy, 1929, but there are copies out there you can get. There may be some on even Amazon that you can find a second or third edition. But, it's really interesting to learn about family lore, firsthand knowledge. And then there's another book called The Virginia Valley Records. If you want to learn more about, if you're into genealogy and learn more about the families and how they came over from Europe and settled in Virginia, that's a broader discussion of much more families beyond Allens or my other side of the family, the Kempers. But, it covers a lot of history of where people came from and how they settled in Virginia.
Looks like I found it. It's here on openlibrary.org, and
nice.
you can just get it in a PDF here. So yeah,
Awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, I wish I could track my family, because like I know for a fact that James Wells was in Baltimore. He came over from England because the Wells family were barons up until the War of the Roses, and then like I wish I could connect my current Wells family to James Wells, who I know is my ancestor, but I don't have like very many of the intermediaries, like between me and him. But I know for a fact I came from him because like the DNA travels perfectly along the Great Wagon Road up that way. And it's just fascinating to dive back and figure out where all these families came from,
Yeah. So Baltimore, does that mean he was Catholic?
Yes.
Oh.
Because we were descended from a Norman house that supported William the Conqueror.
Okay.
Of course, he was not a very good king. If you look back, he was actually a horrible, horrible king. But when my family supported him, like they didn't know that, But
Ancestry.com has some really good tools to search genealogy.
That's where I got my DNA done, and the DNA matches perfectly. It's just I don't have the actual family member by family member like registry, at least not yet. and hopefully one day I will. But like they were hill people from Tennessee. They were moonshiners, and they didn't keep a lot of records because even back then, like a lot of people didn't even really learn to read very much. And but I mean, we're strong people. We're still alive, even if we don't have our records. But yeah. Well, anything else that you want to hit? Because like this has been a huge dive for me. This has been great.
Yeah, I think we covered it. I just really enjoy looking into family genealogy and history. I've visited all the cemeteries in the area, and at one point, just tried to seek out. There's one line from that is from like branches off from the Allens that I've lost any type of history on, because the family lore is that one of my great grandmothers was a Cherokee Indian. And I don't know, I mean, you're from Virginia, so everybody has somebody in their family that, or somebody they know that claims they have Cherokee.
Oh yeah.
But my family history claims that, they ended up on the Trail of Tears and somewhere in Oklahoma, or didn't make it there. But
my grandpa claims he was 3/4, but like I don't know if I believe it or not, because like just the DNA doesn't show up enough south in like Georgia and Western North Carolina. So like we're Appalachian to the core, but if you look at our like family genealogy map, it's like Bell and Harlan counties, Kentucky, and then you got East Tennessee. So like all of us were just kind of we did fight in the Revolutionary War, but we were granted lands there from Congress as payment because they didn't have money back then. Like they couldn't pay the soldiers. So what they did was they was like, here's a bunch of land and you can go claim it, and then we don't have to pay taxes on it. But of course now we're paying taxes on it because 250 years has not been kind to this country. But
that is true. That is true. Well, have you heard of the blue people in Kentucky?
I have, yeah. Turns out that was they had a special, like I forget I actually looked up the gene that was mutated in them at one point, but they had it preserved in them because they did have a certain amount of cousin marriage and inbreeding and stuff like that. But once it got in the community, they only bred from that community, so like it just stayed in them. But the last few died out in the 80s, I think, that had it, because
I was reading. Yeah, I was reading my granny's memoir after she died, and she was talking about one of her cousins by marriage, not from our bloodline, but someone that one of her cousins married. And the only sentence like about this woman was Lizzie was blue. And I was like, oh my gosh, did one of our people marry like one of the blue people from Kentucky? But I haven't been able to like study that further because I go off in all these rabbit holes, and I have so many, rabbit holes to go down that's one I haven't checked out yet. And I will probably never be able to find out that because, there was a lot of stuff going on there that there's not a lot of records.
Yeah, especially if you like go back like before color photo was invented, because they would just look like normal people on film, before in black and white. So yeah, but like there's very few pictures of the blue people like on here, but like the ones that I think we might have in us is the Melungeons, because like if you look at where the Melungeon people live, like there's this spot where Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia meet, and there's like a dot right there that the Melungeon people live in. And I think we have Melungeon in us, but I can't prove it. But we definitely have some of the features here and there. But it's just all manner of people have called these mountains home for thousands of years. So, I'm sure we got a little bit of everything in us. But as far as the Wells family name, I know we definitely come from Normandy, because we came over with William the Conqueror before the Battle of Hastings. And they became barons, and then they were executed for supporting Henry in the War of the Roses by Edward, and Edward had their heads cut off. But my branch of the line didn't have our heads cut off, obviously. But but yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much, Amity. Like, I really appreciate you coming on for this because I love learning stories like this.
Yeah, I love it. We're always on podcasts talking about politics
Yeah,
and current events and libertarian ideals, and so it was a nice change to just go back and talk about some Appalachian history.
absolutely. And any chance I get to take a steaming poop on the Baldwin Felts Detective Agency feels good
Oh yeah.
because my ancestors were actually in the Battle of Blair Mountain, and like they were not like the Baldwin Felts. That like if you look into them, take a deep dive. Like I might even do an episode just on them because they would show up and they would kick little old ladies out of their houses just because their husband was on strike somewhere. And it was just it's horrible stuff. They would break little old ladies' bones and all kinds of stuff. Like they have no morals whatsoever. It's crazy,
Yeah,
but there's always been tyrants. There'll always be tyrants, and we just got to learn how to make them fall. But
that's right.
well, until next time, thank you guys for watching. Free says he thinks he can be excused from the homework. I don't think Amity's going to let you off, bud. But yeah, Esbon McAllister says this is really cool. Thank you so much for watching. And you guys take it easy.
Bye.